In the silent night, a child was born, a child whose birth would change the course of history forever. This was not an ordinary birth. It was the birth of Jesus, a moment that was heralded by angelic visitations and divine prophecies. Imagine the scene. In the humble setting of a manger in Bethlehem, the King of Kings made his entrance into our world. The heavens themselves declared his majesty, with a star guiding the way for those who sought him. Among these were wise men, scholars from the East, who had been led by this celestial beacon to the newborn king. These wise men, understanding the significance of his birth, did something extraordinary. They fell to their knees and worshipped him. A baby, yet they worshipped him. This was no ordinary baby, but a king, a savior, a messiah. A child, yet a king, accepting the worship of wise men. A mystery indeed. Fast forward to 30 years later, the baby has now grown into a man with a divine mission. Now, let's delve into the ministry of Jesus, a phase of his life packed with teachings, miracles, and instances where he accepted worship. His teachings, filled with wisdom and compassion, were not just mere words. They were life-changing principles that continue to impact lives even today. They were about love, forgiveness, and kindness, inspiring a radical shift in the way humanity perceived morality and spirituality. Then there were the miracles. Imagine a man giving sight to someone born blind, or calming a stormy sea with just a word. These weren't just acts of kindness or demonstrations of supernatural power, they were moments of worship. The healed blind man didn't just thank Jesus, he worshipped him. Those saved from the storm didn't just express gratitude, they worshipped him. And let's not forget when Jesus walked on water. It was a moment that defied the laws of nature, a moment where the disciples on the boat worshipped him, recognizing the divine power at work. In each of these instances, Jesus accepted worship, a phenomenon that puzzled many. This acceptance of worship wasn't an act of arrogance or self-glorification, it was an affirmation of his divine nature, a subtle yet profound revelation of his identity as the Son of God. Then came the ultimate sacrifice, an event that would further deepen the mystery. It was a time of profound sorrow, yet it was also a time of intense worship. Even as Jesus hung on the cross, battered and bruised, he was still acknowledged as Lord. Imagine the scene. The sky darkened, the crowd jeered, yet amidst the chaos there was a flicker of faith. A thief hanging on a cross next to Jesus turned to him in his lowest moment. He didn't see a defeated man. He saw his Lord, he saw his Savior. With his dying breath, he worshipped Jesus, acknowledging him as the Messiah. This was not a moment of weakness for Jesus, but a moment of divine strength. It showed the world that even in the face of death, Jesus was worthy of worship. He was and always will be the Lord. Even in death, Jesus accepted worship, a mystery that continued to baffle. But death could not hold him. He rose victorious, and the mystery deepened. With the dawn of the third day, the tomb was found empty, the stone rolled away, the grave clothes were left behind, but Jesus was not there. He had risen just as he had promised. In the days that followed, he made numerous appearances to his followers, further solidifying his triumph over death. In these encounters, he continued to accept acts of worship. A poignant example of this is when Thomas, a man initially skeptical of the resurrection, saw him. Upon witnessing the wounds from the crucifixion, Thomas fell to his knees, exclaiming, "My Lord and my God." In this moment, Jesus did not rebuke him. Instead, he accepted Thomas's proclamation, further solidifying his divine identity. He was not just a prophet or a teacher, he was God incarnate, worthy of worship. In life, in death, and in resurrection, Jesus accepted worship. The mystery remains. So why did Jesus accept worship? The answer lies in his identity. As we unravel the mystery, we understand that Jesus accepted worship not out of vanity or pride, but because he is God, the second person of the Trinity. It was not man's adulation he sought, but a recognition of his divine nature and his rightful place in the celestial hierarchy. Jesus accepted worship because he is worthy of it. Mystery unraveled.